on the 1st of February 1936, an appeal from Benito Mussolini to the students of Europe was published in Il Popolo d'Italia, claiming that Italy wanted peace in Europe, but sanctions against the country would lead to a war for which Italy would not be responsible. Other than that, there really is not much going on, so I'm going to just run the time. I also, in real life, have a little bit of time stress for this video, for recording it, if you can believe that, since it takes like 5 minutes, including editing. Anyway, we're just gonna watch the sun, you know, spread over the world, enjoy the daylight in Germany, while our troops keep doing jumping jacks. It's not gonna be long now before our troops, two whole divisions arrive in Ethiopia. That's gonna be fun. And I'll be able to walk around and stuff. I'm looking forward to it. But we still have to wait a whole week. And I have to wait longer. And with that, we have come to the end of the day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. On the 2nd of February 1936, the Fuji Hakone Itsu National Park was established in Japan, and this is the national park around Mount Fuji, which unfortunately I don't believe we can see around here on the map in this game. I don't know exactly where it is. Probably not too far from Tokyo, right? Interesting questions. Other than that, yeah, not much happening today. The war continues in Ethiopia as night falls. And in Germany, we are just doing our thing for today. Only a few days left now before the volunteers arrive in Ethiopia. Kinda hyped for that. So yeah. Yeah, that's it for today. On the 3rd of February 1936, the Soviet Union issued a statement accusing troops from Manchukuo of making provocatory raids into Soviet territory. Meanwhile, over in Europe, the high and still increasing debt of Germany to Poland in this area drives Poland to decide to limit train traffic between East Prussia and the rest of Germany. Yes, yes, yes. Poland is messing with us, alright? Well, that's what happened in real life. Let's see what's gonna happen in the game. We almost have one full army XP now. Glorious. Daytime is coming. So I've heard conflicting things, guys. Is this worth it with historical focus on or not? I heard Netherlands will always cave or never cave to the Germans. But then someone else told me to do it. So I don't know. Seems like a potential waste of political power. Which, by the way, is almost up to 50 now. Very good. Very, very good. And that was the 4th of February, guys. Very, very nice. On the 4th of February 1936, Idaho Senator William E. Borah formally announced his candidacy for President of the United States. The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money was published by the famous English economist John Maynard Keynes, a book that still influences central banks around the globe today in 2024, and governments as well, by the way. The German Wilhelm Gustloff, leader of the NSDAP in Switzerland, was assassinated in his own home. The culprit, David Frankfurter, was a Yugoslavian Jew, and he reported himself to the police. In France, there are some issues following the elections, and the parliament moves towards a system of proportional representation. Finally, the Belgian minister-president, Paul van Zeeland, voices his concerns about the international situation and states that he wants to increase defense spending. That's quite a lot that happened on the 4th of February. Let's see what happens in the game. I assume it's not going to be too much. I don't think we've had a single event yet. in all the time we have played this game so far. Over a month of playtime. Well, technically I started on January 18th, of course. It looks like Ethiopia made kind of like a little breakthrough here into Italian lands. It's a good thing our troops will be arriving very, very soon. On the 7th of February. Night falls and the war continues. And that was the 4th of February. On the 5th of February in 1936, the Japanese government and army discussed foreign policy. Some of the conclusions they came up with was that they would support the Chinese government in, cracking down on anti-Japanese movements within the country. They were also going to support autonomous movements in northern China. And they would support a border agreement between the Soviet Union and Inner Mongolia in order to protect Manchukuo. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be too much that has happened historically. So let's just get to the game. We're gonna go and roll the time. Watch the sun, reflection. Cover the ocean. Cross the ocean. Oh, and their morning comes to Germany. We're still about 33 days away from our first focus completing. We're almost done completely reinforcing everything, including the airplanes. Very good news. And that seems to be it for the 5th of February. On the 6th of February 1936, a Thursday, the 4th Olympic Winter Games were opened in Garmisch-Partenkirchen in Germany. As each delegation of the 28 participating countries marched past Adolf Hitler himself. In the opening ceremony, he gave the Nazi salute. Most of the athletes who appeared and walked past him appeared to return the gesture, although the Nazi salute was confusingly similar to the traditional Olympic salute. The Americans were among those who did not salute. In the meantime, over in Asia, Inner Mongolia, which had declared independence under Te Wang, took the name of Mengjiang. And Inner Mongolia is the area. Well, in this game, I think it's represented by Mengkuo Shangxi Shibai Sanma, but it's kind of like this strip along the border with Mongolia here. Maybe it's this strip, but I think it's this upper strip here. And I think probably these countries up here are meant to represent various factions within the independence or more autonomous movements in China. I don't know exactly though, don't quote me on this. I'm not a historian, and I'm definitely no Chinese historian, and I'm also definitely not really an expert on World War II. So yeah. Anyway, in the game, this is a very exciting day, because today we get to play a few more hours than usual, and this is because I am from now on uploading at a different time of day. I like to publish these videos at the same time of day that I stop the actual in-game counter at. So instead of publishing at 1 o'clock what would it be? 11 GMT, British time. I'm now going to be publishing at noon GMT. So that means we have 50% more time. And wow, extraordinarily, this is also one of the first days we actually get an in-game event. So let me read this. Italy moves to annex the Sultanate of Aussa. Rumors are swirling that the annexation of the Sultanate of Aussa by Italian forces may be imminent. Italian troops have been seen amassing on the border of the isolated nation, and sources indicate that pressure is being exerted diplomatically in Aussa to force a capitulation without bloodshed. It remains to be seen whether Mohammed Yayo can resist the Italian pressure, but the situation does not look promising. How dreadful. Well, our volunteers, which is another exciting thing, are arriving in a mere 23 hours from now. And we get to play a little bit after that as well. Another 11 hours or so. So daytime is coming. Sunrise is arriving in Ethiopia, which is where all our attention is fixed right now. Very nice to see. And now night is falling again. Beautiful. Quite early, actually. 6 o'clock or nightfall. Might be a tropical equator thing going on there. And as I said, the 2 divisions I sent to Italy have now arrived in Italy, which is very exciting for me because I finally get to like actually move some troops around. But other than that, another exciting thing is that we get to go for another 11 hours. So let's have a good look at our volunteers here. We sent the 1st Panzer Division and the 24th Infantry Division. The Panzer Division is not a full combat width. We can probably check that out. Yeah, so their combat width is only 12. And the Infantry Division has a combat width of 18, actually. So 30. So let's take a look at a random tile here and look at the combat width. So the combat width is like 70 here in these hills. And in the lands where we are actually going to be fighting these mountains here, it's only 50. I don't really know what the additional attacks means. So maybe some of the HOI4 nerds could inform me more about this subject. But now we have to decide where we're going to move these guys. They're at full organization upon arrival. I think we're going to give them some orders. A couple days ago I saw that Ethiopia is actually kind of half making a push down here. But there are a lot of Italian troops here. I think they're going to push these guys back. Although we do not have information about how many units there actually are here. So what I think I'm going to do for now is I'm going to assign them the front line here. This front line. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to assign an offensive line. I'm going to put it something like probably this for now. And what that is going to do is it's, as many of you HOI4 players already know, of course, it's going to create a plan, which means that we're going to get basically a combat bonus as our planning increases for this specific offensive maneuver. Also, these troops are going to automatically start moving towards the border here. I'm kind of excited to see just how quickly they move, because when you play HOI4 normally on speed 3 and you just play like years at a time, you don't really pay attention to how much they actually move in a single day. So let's unroll the time. We're going to go until noon because that's going to be my new upload time. They are starting to move already. Very slowly. Oh, and another thing I want to check is if I can send volunteers again. And now I can send air volunteers, right? So that means I can get... let's read this. Send 0 divisions. You have 2 divisions as volunteer forces already, and the maximum limit is 2, which is limited by my number of divisions. We will not generate threat. I think... Oh yeah, here it says, request permission for up to 2 of our air wings to join the war as volunteers. So let's send that. Let's hope we get it back today. Oh yeah, 1 hour later we get a memo back from Italy. We are now allowed to send 2 air wings. Very beautiful. I think we already looked at that before. So 100 fighters. And we probably also want to send 100 close air support. Because close air support planes, if you don't know, are kind of the planes that like support the troops on the battlefield. So we're gonna select these 2, which we're doing exercises before. I'm gonna turn the exercises off for them. And we're gonna send them over here to this airport. There's already 500 planes there, so Italy is probably already doing quite a lot in the way of air support themselves. Let's have a look at the air map. There are 297 Italian fighters active here in Danakil. Over here, there's no planes at all, and in Aden, there are no planes at all either. Either way, I would like to get our planes over there. Let's see how far they can get in just these next 6 hours. Where are they? They're just like right here now, 2 hours later. 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's the 7th of February done. We're now at noon, 7th February. Very good. Our planes are somewhere over Czechoslovakia on their way to Ethiopia. And in the meantime, our troops are slowly starting to move towards the border. So that's the situation right now. And now that we have our troops on the field for the first time, also it seems like their organization went to 0, which is kind of shit. But yeah, now that we have our troops on the actual battlefield for the first time, I could really start to use your advice. I mean, I know that I want them here just to get XP and to level up their experience level as troops. And also just to help Ethiopia, or no, help Ethiopia lose, I guess, but help Italy win the war against Ethiopia. So yeah, all those reasons are valid. I know all of those, but like how to micro these guys, like maximum efficiency and stuff, I don't know all of that. And I would really like your advice for that. In the meantime, let's just have a quick look at our logistics. It seems like we are doing quite well. We're still missing some planes. We have plenty of convoys, trains, light tanks are building up. Although we have learned also in the past that these are old models that we are stockpiling. We have trucks, we have some guns and shit. It's all gonna be good. But yeah, that's it for the 7th of February. See you tomorrow. On the 7th of February, 1936, the last inmates in Welfare Island in New York, widely considered the worst prison in the United States, were transferred to Rikers Island so the old prison could be razed and replaced with a park and a hospital. In Belgium, some Flemish nationalist members of parliament propose revocation of the military cooperation or military agreement with France. In the Netherlands, the state is founding a commission led by a dude named Minister Jacob Adriaan de Wilde. And they are going to review the Constitution. Yes, the Constitution. In the meantime, in the game, we have some stuff actually going on. We have some planes that are on their way, these two air wings, to Eritrea. So they're like above Czechoslovakia now. And we have our troops in actual Ethiopia on the ground that are moving towards the front slowly. So let's see how they do. If they make any progress today on the 7th of February. Moving at night as well, of course. See if our airplanes have arrived yet. No, they're still above Europe. So they're probably not gonna arrive in time for today. Ah, another event. The Sultanate of Aussa submits to Italian demands. Perhaps unsurprisingly to many, the Sultanate of Aussa has accepted Italian demands for subjugation. While the Afar government held out hope of avoiding occupation, it became increasingly clear that the colonial powers of the region would not be coming to their aid, nor would neighboring Ethiopia be able to spare military personnel to support them. With the situation so bleak, the government bowed to Italian pressure to spare the people becoming the victims of unnecessary bloodshed. Italian forces are now moving into the small nation to take up new positions on the border with Ethiopia. It is unclear whether the occupation will be permanent or how it will impact the wider Italian conflict with Ethiopia. Unsurprising, unfortunately. What do you mean, unfortunately? Morning comes. Our troops still haven't really moved much. I think, yeah, the tanks are getting ahead, and that's nice. The infantry is still very slowly moving, only. And that's noon. Noon it is. Let's check one more time how far the airplanes got. Right, so they're somewhere above the Western Balkans now, above Yugoslavia. So, yeah, right there. So it's probably going to take them at least 2 more days. 1 or 2 more days. Maybe even 3. To arrive here in Eritrea. And then we can send them to the sky to help out. We have also some support planes and bombers active already. Probably all the Italian stuff. Anyway, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. On the 8th day of February of 1936 in Paraguay, plans for a communist coup are discovered and stopped. Meanwhile, the Archbishop of Utrecht, the city in the Netherlands, resigns. Yep, he resigned. Then in India, Jawaharlal Nehru was elected president of the Indian National Congress. The original Teatro Regio in Turin, Italia, was destroyed by fire, and the first ever NFL draft was held. Jay Berwanger was the first pick selected by the Philadelphia Eagles. However, he would never play in the NFL. Now, in the game, we are still watching our troops slowly move to the front. The tank is going to be there a lot faster than the infantry is, but either way, we still need to regain a lot of organization before we can actually use them properly. We also have some planes on their way. Last I saw, they were above Yugoslavia somewhere. So it's all very exciting. We're finally doing something. Getting dark at 5 already here. In February. Ooh. Tank actually making solid progress. Infantry barely moving. Morning has come. We are using quite a bit of fuel. And there we are, it's noon. On the 9th of February 1936, the British pilot Tommy Rose flew from London to Cape Town in 3 days, 17 hours and 38 minutes, improving the old record with at least 13 hours. So now I'm starting to understand why my planes from Berlin still have not arrived in bloody Eritrea, because they are currently above the Mediterranean Ocean, and it has been a couple days that they are underway already. So they'll probably land here. We'll have to send... Oh, this is French Somaliland. Ah, that's why I cannot send them there. That's a little bit annoying, isn't it? And is there any airport in the south? There is. But we don't have any intel on it. Except that it is in Italian territory. We may have to fly there soon. Anyway, our troops are approaching the border. Also, Egypt reduced the age of conscription from 19 to 18 years of age. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So let's look at our troops for the day. Seems like our tank might even arrive on the front before this day is out, with decent organization as well. Seems to be recovering a bit more than the infantry. Actually, it's not recovering more than the infantry, they just have more, the infantry. 53 organization versus only 23. Not a lot, not a lot. Mr. Erich von Manstein here, who should be doing quite well. Can we now give him a trait? How much do we need? We need 15 command power, so no, we cannot give him a trait yet. There we go, that's the time. Let's just quickly check where our planes are. Still not arrived, that's for sure. They are currently flying above Egypt, so I have some confidence that they might arrive tomorrow. Maybe. But then we do need to find more space for them. Okay, we can send one of the wings here after, and the other we'll send into combat immediately. Okay. Well, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. On the 10th of February 1936, Key Pittman, head of the Commission of Foreign Affairs of the American Senate, poses that Japan is actually purposefully trying to cut China off from the United States. And for that reason, he demanded that the Navy and the Air Force be reinforced and strengthened. In Germany, 150 religious people and members of Catholic organizations and the youth movement of the Catholic organization are arrested because they are suspected or accused of conspiracy to overthrow the National Socialist state. One of these people was Hendrik Wolker, and he was the leader of the Catholic youth movement in Germany. In Ethiopia, the Battle of Amba Aradam began on the northern front, which is quite fitting, seeing as our troops are now arriving on the northern front. Fruit? Did I just say fruit? Then Raiko, which is a Japan-based machine office and digital camera brand, was founded in Tokyo on this day. The US Supreme Court decided on a case called Grosjean versus American Press.co, which was a lawsuit that had to do with separate sales tax on newspapers with a circulation of over 20,000. Yeah, very interesting information, all of this. Indeed. Then Rose McConnell Long, who was the widow of Huey Long, was sworn in as a US senator to serve the remainder of her late husband's term. Meanwhile, on the front, we're gonna see our tank arrive today, which should be very exciting. And perhaps we'll just send him straight into combat as well. Okay, we can now see that there are quite a few troops here. There's one regiment over here in the mountains. And they have an infantry Tigray Safari and a Volkite Safari Mountaineer Corps. Looks like the Mountaineer and the other infantry are both leaving. Italy is pressing the attack over here. We have 16 organization. Let's see if we can just wait a little bit. Hourly recovery is 0.19. Okay, so this guy will take 7 more days and 12 hours to arrive here, approximately. So it might be worth going in, but we'll probably have to wait until we get maximum organization here. That will be good. We have no intel on the combat here, but it looks like it's going well, looking at the organization and condition of this unit here. Is there no way to double click or something or get more info? No. Let's keep an eye on our planes. They still have not arrived, but they're above Egypt somewhere. Let's wait a couple hours. I think at least one of them will arrive today. Yeah. Beautiful. Our tank has recovered up to 18. Okay, our hourly recovery has slowed down a lot because our organization is already quote-unquote high. We have infrastructure issues here as well. So I think we're just going to go in and join this combat for the final 2 hours of the day. Have our planes arrived yet? No, not yet. Okay, yeah, so now we can see the combat because we're in it. And it's going quite well. We are currently winning. We estimate that the battle will last another 5 days. This guy will now arrive in 4 days and 12 hours. Oh, that's actually a lot quicker. Might have been nighttime when I checked last. We are attacking from multiple directions. We have quite a lot of attack here. Our Panzer are still in reserves for now. And that is it for the 10th of February. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. On the 11th of February 1936, 200 pro-Italian students at the University of Paris called for the dismissal of Gaston Yezi, I don't know how to pronounce it, who served as legal counsel to Ethiopia. Dame Laura Knight became the first woman appointed to the Royal Academy, and Great Britain pulled off a major upset over in Germany at the Olympic Winter Games in the semi-final of ice hockey, winning 2-1 against Canada. Very nice. Meanwhile, in the Dutch East Indies, there was a policy proposal that concerned the free days of employees. And the content of the proposal was that employees had to have at least 2 free Sundays a month and at least 52 free days a year. on every Sunday on which people had to work, they would be paid double wages. Wow, wow, wow. Historical fact. Take that. Meanwhile, on the front here, we have some support planes, close air support, that has arrived. So we're going to send those into this area, and we're going to have them provide close air support. That should help out a little with the fight here, which we are going to be watching closely. Our tank is going in, but currently still in reserve. And our fighters should also be arriving very soon. Very good. Time is passing. So, what does all this stuff exactly mean? They have 39 defense, and they're facing 4 units here with 10, 10, 8, 8 attack, soft attack, and I guess this is hard attack, and this is breakthrough. So how many enemy attacks a unit can attempt to avoid while on the offensive, effectively allowing it to stay on the offensive longer. Hard attack is, yeah, how many attacks the unit can make versus enemies with high hardness, and how many attacks the unit can make versus enemies with low hardness. Okay. Well, our Panzer is still in reserve. I hope it's not losing any organization. Doesn't seem to be. Our infantry is pretty close to arriving, but not quite there yet. And our enemy will be reinforced in 3 days and 18 hours. So we would really like to push through before that happens. What to do? What to do? Our other airplanes should have arrived by now, yeah. These are fighters. I'll send them over here, I think. Because there's not much we can do when the airport is full. Okay, 93. Very good. The enemy has 6.4 organization. 3.5. 3.0. 2.4. So it looks like we will probably be able to beat them. Very nice. But that's all our time for today. On the 12th of February, 1936, in Aix-en-Provence, the bottom of France here, 3 Croatian people are sentenced to life in prison due to their complicity in the attack on King Alexander of Yugoslavia. Yep. And 3 others are sentenced to death. A severe cold wave swept across North America, breaking numerous records and crippling transportation services. A committee of experts reported to the League of Nations that an oil embargo against Italy would take 3.5 months to become effective, and even that would only be if the United States agreed to curtail its booming oil business with Italy. A short circuit started in a Manhattan cafe that killed 5 people and injured 37. The incident would have been minor were it not for the panic causing a crowded dash down the stairways. Wow. Very, very interesting for the historical facts for today. In the meantime, we are very close to winning this battle here in Ethiopia. It looks like our planes have been doing some damage, so that's good. So this troop here only has 2.4 morale left, or organization, I should say. And their reinforcements are still quite far away. Yeah, 3 days and 8 hours away. So we should be good here. We should push Ethiopia into here, and then we might be able to just go around them with our Panzer Division. So let's roll the time. Also, let me check the intelligence agency. 11 days until that is finished, so that should be fun. Alright, night falls as the battle continues. 1.7 organization left. Doesn't look like we are doing much damage at night. Oh. And now it looks like our Panzer is joining the fight for real. We are able to do 14 soft attack and 2 hard attack, which is the most out of all of these divisions. And we also have way more breakthrough. So that's nice. And yet the organization is basically not moving. 1.6 now. 1.1. What's our tactic? We are holding a bridge. And they are assaulting a bridge. Okay. Oh, it looks like the enemy is retreating. Very good. Let's hope we get there before our enemy does. It looks like... Oh, it looks like Italy is already there and is now defending over here. Very good. But I'm afraid that's it for today. On the 13th of February 1936, Charles Maurras published a column in Action Française calling for the knife to be used against politicians who supported sanctions against Italy. That same day, French politician Léon Blum was attacked and cut about the head by student followers of Maurras. That night, the French government banned the Action Française, Camelot du Roi, and Royalist Students' Association under a law that was passed in December prohibiting extremist political leagues. That's right, they got banned. Very banned. Interesting that Italy holds a tiny little bit of land there. They're about to lose it. Here in the south, the Ethiopians are still defending this little strip of land. A plains province, where it's very hot. Interesting. Our troops are on the front more and more. Our tank is moving over to these mountains. Let's see what happens here. We have our planes in the air. These probably won't be able to fly much, but it's fine because we already have the air superiority we need. Let's just send them out anyway with a mission just to, you know, hopefully still get some XP out of it. Okay, the time is rolling. Night falls. And I don't know if we're going to actually arrive today. Does not look like it. Nope. On the 14th of February 1936, Valentine's Day, Germany announces that it will not provide a new judge for the Permanent Court of International Justice to replace Walter Schücking. The reason of this is that all new appointments of judges to this court have to be approved by the League of Nations, and Germany rejects all interactions with the League of Nations. As a repercussion for the murder of Wilhelm Gustloff, all expositions and events of Jewish cultural organizations in Germany are prohibited. The Belgian minister Paul van Zeeland and the French Minister of Foreign Affairs Pierre-Étienne Flandin discussed the tensions between the two countries. At least 5 were killed in Caracas, Venezuela, during protests against a government decree establishing censorship of the press. Meanwhile, at the Winter Olympics, Karl Schäfer of Austria won gold in men's figure skating. Wow, that's it for the historical facts of the day. Let's return to the front lines, where our tank is still slowly moving to this mountain province. And we can hopefully try to cut them off a bit. Go around them, you know? Night falls. Looks like we are almost there. Okay, it looks like we are there now. And it does also look like we could go here. So I think that's exactly what I will do. I will arrive in 1 day and 5 hours, which is exactly not tomorrow either. Not today and not tomorrow either. But that's fine. On the 15th of February 1936, rabbis in Poland threatened to organize a strike of the meat industry in Poland if the government went through with its plan to abolish the kosher slaughter of animals. Meanwhile, back at the Winter Olympics, Great Britain won the Olympic ice hockey tournament by playing the United States to a scoreless tie to finish atop the standings, and Sonja Henie of Norway won the ladies figure skating. Back here at the front, we are just going to watch our tank not really move, because he's going to try to get here, but he's going to be 1 hour too slow to arrive today. So then we'll have something to do tomorrow. Our infantry is still walking over here towards Makale. He won't arrive today, I assume. No. 1 day and 22 hours. Very nice. There's a lot of Ethiopian troops stacked right over here. Don't know how many there are over here. Oh well, as you can see, the tank will arrive in 1 hour, but that hour we will have to see tomorrow. On the 16th of February 1936, legislative elections were held in Spain. A left-wing coalition known as the Popular Front defeated its main opponent, the Spanish Confederation of Autonomous Right-Wing Groups. Meanwhile, in Germany, the Winter Olympics ended, and Norway dominated the medal count with 7 gold medals and 15 medals in total. Yes, Norway is a good country for winter athletes, is it not? Until so far, the historical facts for the day. And let's return to the front, where our planes are in the sky still, and our tanks are trying to move around the enemy lines. We should be moving today, yep. Okay. So we went around this little lake, so let's go here next, into these mountains. The Italians should be following us. Yes, indeed they are. It would be very nice if we can encircle all these troops over here by cutting across with our tank. So let's see. Yeah, it will take a day and 11 hours to get here, though. So we won't find out anytime soon. This is something I've been meaning to check. Does it get... At what time it gets dark here in the German region? And if that's the same all year. Also. Because in February, yes, it would be dark here in this area. But in June, it will not be dark until like 11. So I wonder how realistic the game is with that. I'm just gonna keep moving with our tank. The 1st Panzer Regiment, Panzer Division. Maybe tomorrow our infantry will finally arrive on the front lines. That would be just beautiful. On the 17th of February 1936, a Monday, the Paraguayan president, over here in Paraguay, named Eusebio Ayala, was overthrown in a coup led by Rafael Franco. Over in Geneva, Switzerland, the League of Nations moved into its new headquarters, the Palace of Nations. Then, after several years of trade war, the British and Irish governments signed a pact reducing tariffs between the two countries. Over in the United States, the comic strip The Phantom made its first appearance. Although the Phantom character did not have any superpowers, he was the first to wear a skin-tight unitard-style costume, the hallmark of many comic book superheroes to come. Then, over in Vladivostok, in the far east, is it on the map? Yeah, right here. All Japanese people were basically kicked out of the city with the exception of official diplomats. Then, a commission from Manchukuo that was investigating border incidents counted as many as 47 incidents with the Soviet Union and 44 with Mongolia since February 1932. The commission poses that the cause of this lies in inaccuracies with the borders. So, yeah. Then, back to the front. It has been about a week since I played. The last time I recorded like 7 days in a row because I had a busy week. So it's been a while for me, but I was looking at the supply map mode. And I think our tank here still is at full fuel capacity. But I think if we go too much further, we might start losing fuel, at which point we will have about 4 days of fuel left, which is not a lot. I am going to keep going here. I think Italy's already following me, so that should be good. And I'm just going to check out how bad the supply is going to be over there. But if it's really bad, I might not be able to continue much further with the tank. Then, there was a nice discussion in the comments under one of my recent videos about whether I should train troops or not. And I think the conclusion I reached is that I should be training very cheap troops and then upgrading them later. The problem with that is that, well, I have only 2 army experience, so I cannot really make a new template. So I'm just going to do a compromise, and for now I'm just going to train a couple of infantry divisions. But when we do get some army experience, I'm going to make a really cheap troop and just train a bunch of those. Yeah, but for now I think let's look at our logistics. We have 2,100 guns right now. And I don't think we need much else because our guys, they just have support artillery. So one division only uses 12 artillery and it uses about 900 infantry equipment. So actually infantry equipment is our main constraint here. And as for support equipment, we have enough for 2 as well. So I think we're training 2 divisions right now. I'm going to start to train these 2. I will be training them both in Brandenburg here, near the capital. And yeah, let's roll the time, I guess. Let's see what happens. We should be arriving here in 12 hours, so we will definitely do that today. And in the meantime, our infantry is arriving in less than 12 hours over here. So then we can help out the Italians right here. 1 more hour. Okay, there we go. Our infantry is now at the front for the first time since arriving in Italy. About, what was it, 10 days ago? So, all things considered, that's pretty quick. I don't have any intel on this combat, but I think I'm just gonna join it. These 3 do seem like they're already on reasonably low organization. They're definitely suffering a bit. So yeah, let's keep going. In the meantime, we have 3 more hours at midnight. Oh, let me turn this back on. I played some single player and turned that off. Yeah. So this combat, we can now see it. Our own division is probably still in reserves. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. The enemy has quite a lot of organization left. But we'll just keep that running for a bit. Okay, our tank has arrived here. Let's check the supply map. Yeah, so here our supply really is quite low. So let's check the fuel. We're still at max, so I think I am willing to take the risk of going here as well. Especially since there's no enemy troops over there. We could even just make a push all the way to Addis Ababa. That would be sick, wouldn't it? But I don't want to risk my tank getting caught out behind the lines too much. So Italy is coming though, so I think it will be good. We will arrive in the next little province thing in 1 day and 9 hours. So that should be in tomorrow's video, I think. Right, let's check the air again. Yeah, it looks like we're still the only one that has any planes whatsoever. And here in the south, it looks like we beat back Ethiopia, or the Italians did, from this little strip here. So that's good. We're making progress. We have our own little intrusion strip now, you know. It's good. And morning comes. Looks like we no longer have intel on this battle. Strange. And now we do again. Okay, I think my infantry just decided to stop attacking or something. Oh well, we'll send them back in. The bubble is green. And with that, the day is over. On the 18th of February 1936, a Tuesday, Switzerland banned the NSDAPAO. The, well, you know, the baddie organization. The bad guys. They banned them. Meanwhile, in the United States, the neutrality law was extended until the 1st of May 1937. This neutrality law basically meant that the United States was not allowed to export weapons, provide loans, or provide disproportionate amounts of credit to nations that were at war. Yeah. Anyway, one of those nations is Italy and Ethiopia. So let's go see how that goes. We have about 21 hours to go until we arrive here, and then we're just right next to the capital. So we could actually just march in there. It's kind of annoying that we cannot see how close Ethiopia is to capitulation. Anyway, while we wait for the tank to move, we will just watch this beautiful combat here. We are still in reserves here. Our friend is starting to lose. Or at least the bubble has turned red. It's gonna take like fucking forever for us to even join this battle, isn't it? Okay, well, our tank has made it here, but there are 3 units coming at us. More combat width as well. We are the defender, but we might get pushed back here. We'll have to see. On the 19th of February 1936, a Wednesday, Manuel Azana formed a new government in Spain. The government consists of 9 members of his own Izquierda Republicana, 3 of the Republican Union, and the partyless, or like the non-party individual and general Carlos Masquelé. So, in the game, we have someone completely different in power in Spain at the moment. A nice fascist, very good for us, because we are the German Reich, of course. Then, the Battle of Amba Aradam in Ethiopia ended in an Italian victory. And then the Spanish Republic announced an amnesty for the rebels of the 1934 Asturian Revolt. Probably the new government did that. So, yeah. That's it. Let's go to the front, where things are heating up a bit. We moved our tank all the way here in an attempt to kind of cut the enemy off. They are now retreating towards their capital and attempting to push us back from here. Now, we are relatively low on organization, and our tank regiment has now also started to lose fuel and could run out in as much as a day, or as quickly as a day or 2, basically. So that's the thing. Our other guys are still attempting to join this fight here, rather unsuccessfully, because they still haven't arrived from reserves. So let's roll the time and see if we can win. Does look like our planes are doing some damage in the fight, so that's nice. Very nice. Oh. That's weird. There's now no one on the front line. And my guy stopped moving again. How very immature. Okay. I think I'm gonna just leave him to do nothing for the rest of today. Oh, the Italians went back in. Let's join them. And just stay in reserves the entire time? How weird. Strange indeed. Our tank is kind of winning, though. The bubble is has increased. We only have 8.8 organization, which is not a lot. And they have still quite a lot of fuel left, actually. Maybe we are sort of in supply range, but nah, I don't think so. Well, we'll see tomorrow. On the 20th of February 1936, a Thursday, I believe, there was a declaration by the United States Supreme Court that the sale of excess electricity by the Tennessee Valley Authority was completely lawful. So that's good. Then in Amsterdam, they decide to fill in part of het Rokin. And het Rokin is Just a kind of like a canal through Amsterdam. Okay, then police in Spain fired on crowds of leftists attempting to burn churches and convents. 8 deaths were reported around the country. Then the science fiction film Things to Come, written by H.G. Wells, premiered in Britain, as well as the musical comedy film Follow the Fleet, starring Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, and with music by Irving Berlin. Yes, very nice. Meanwhile, back on the front, let's have a look and see if our division will finally join this battle. It doesn't look like it, which is kind of annoying. Kind of quite annoying indeed. Oh, there we are. We're now in the fight, finally. Very good. So, that means we have a bit more of a chance here. We now actually have more combat width than the enemy. Very nice. Our tank is managing to hold these guys here off pretty well, I think. Low supply. Okay, good. And it looks like they successfully left my tank alone, or my tank successfully made them give up, so to speak. We could go straight into Addis Ababa once this regiment leaves, and we would be there first. But let's wait for the Italians here to kind of catch up, shall we? We don't want to be encircled. We could go here, though. And then we could attack this unit from 2 sides. I don't really want to give up the mountains, though, that we have here. This fighting through these mountain provinces is quite intense. Anyway. On the 21st of February, 1936, Italy won a great victory against Abyssinia, close to Amba Aradam. Then, in Germany, there was an establishment of quotas for Jewish doctors. The decree by Gerhard Wagner stated that the proportion of Jewish doctors in Germany could not exceed the proportion of Jews in the general population. Then, on George Washington's 204th birthday, retired baseball legend Walter Johnson replicated a feat attributed to Washington by throwing a silver dollar across the Rappahannock River, right? That's probably somewhere around here. I don't know. Though it remained in dispute whether Washington ever did such a thing, Johnson did prove that it could be done. Yes. Now let's return to the front, where we are in combat with our infantry. And our tank is just kind of chilling here, waiting for the Italians to cover him, his back, basically. It will be nice. So let's roll the time. Very, very slowly we are making some progress against these guys. Now, let's check supply. This is a supply hub, Addis Ababa. If I get that, that will be very good. Because it means also that they are probably cut off from their supplies. Why are all these troops here, Italy? What are you doing? Nope, 50. Very good. On the 22nd of February, 1936, a Saturday, Puerto Rico's chief of police, E. Francis Riggs, was shot and killed by 2 young nationalists. The 2 assailants were captured and executed immediately without any form of trial. Oh no. Alright, so it turns out that yesterday, on the 21st of February, I actually stated all the facts for the 22nd of February, with Washington throwing a dollar across the river and the Jewish doctor quota in Germany. So today I'm going to tell you what happened on the 21st of January. February. So that was a Friday, and on that day, the new Spanish government freed 34,000 political prisoners. And yeah, that's it. And something else that's happened on the 22nd was that Germany protested against the banning of the NSDAP in Switzerland. So yeah, that all being said, let's move on. Let's go. So this fight's going quite well, it looks like. Let's hope it continues that way. Our tank is regaining some organization, although it's quite slow. And the Italians are still on their way for like 3 more days. Fucking hell. To this province. And for 2 more days, these guys will be on their way. I could sneak right in there and just take Addis Ababa. Oh, wow. Our agency has been created, the Abwehr. So that means we now have spies. Which means we can start working on more spy stuff. So let me know what I should get first, because I don't really know what to get. I know a cryptology department is quite nice. Maybe an economy, civilian thing, army department, passive defense. Let me know what I should pick here. For now, I'm just going to let the 5 civs contribute to construction. Which, by the way, our first civilian factory is also going to complete in not too long. The 19th of March, it looks like. We are at maximum efficiency with all these production lines. Almost completely reinforced our airplanes. Oh yeah, and we are now training 2 divisions. And they will be done probably... yeah, in a couple months. Very nice. Let's keep looking at the front. And yeah, we do have to wait another 29 days before we can recruit an operative, by the way. So, that's the thing. Okay, that was it. On February 23rd, 1936... Whoa, I almost said that completely wrong. Anyway, on that day, Puerto Rico's chief of police, E. Francis Riggs, was shot and killed by 2 young nationalists. The 2 assailants were captured and executed immediately without trial. Yep. Then Sir Neil Malcolm is appointed as High Commissary for German refugees. Yes, very good. Back to the front. We are making some progress in this little fight here. These guys are attempting to move over here. Maybe I can cut them off. Because if I take this province, that means I take the railroad. Which means I cut these units off from supply. And I'm also kind of encircling them. But it is very dangerous to do so. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. Could also move to these hills. I'll probably get there before this guy does. The thing is, then they can cut me off. So it's not so good. Now, I'm just gonna wait a little bit more for this guy to arrive. I think it's a smart choice. 2 more days. In the meantime, we do have this battle to watch. So, looks like this first unit here might go out very soon. Or might be forced back very soon. These guys, like, they're kind of here for nothing, aren't they? The fighters. I'm going to send the fighters back home. I'm just going to get more close air support in, I think. I think that's the way to go about it. Or maybe some tactical bombers. Yeah, you stop doing pilot exercises. And get your ass over here. Ah, you can't, right? Because I have to wait for the others to return first? Okay, well. Then keep doing pilot exercises for now. That's just fine. Okay, and that's it. On the 24th of February, 1936, which was a Monday, Anthony Eden addressed the House of Commons for the first time as Foreign Secretary. He responded to criticism of the League of Nations failing to impose oil sanctions on Italy by explaining that oil was a sanction like any other and must be judged by the same criterion, whether its imposition will help stop the war. That's it. Then what also happened is that elections for the Japanese parliament led to a large humiliation for the Sayukai party, which fell from 289 to 178 out of the total 466 seats. The big winner was Minseto, which went from 119 to 205 seats. Yep. And then, in a conflict concerning wages and working times in Denmark, employers assume the exclusion of at least 125,000 employees from, I don't know, it's a bit vague here what it says, but it's fine. Something about wages and employers in Denmark. Then, back to the front again. We are still waiting for Italy to get their ass over here. They will now arrive in a day and 4 hours, so it shouldn't be that much longer. And once they do arrive, our tank should also be at basically full organization, and then we can start doing something. Yeah, it's very nice. How much soft attack does this thing have? So yeah, I actually only 63 soft attack on the tank. Whoa, cannot talk. Which is kind of the same as on the infantry. It just moves faster, so. How many tanks do we have in reserve anyway? 62. Oh, there's also some motorized infantry with these tanks, it seems. Interesting. It's supposed to have 92.1 soft attack, the Panzer Division. So what's wrong? We're missing 2 towed artillery. How strange that it doesn't have the full soft attack. Weird. Anyway, let's roll the time. Getting very close to kicking this one out. We're also gaining XP quite fast now. Just from being in combat. And that's it. On the 25th of February 1936, a Tuesday, artists from Tin Pan Alley such as Rudy Vallee, George Gershwin and Irving Berlin came to Washington to fight a bill affecting the copywriting of popular songs. Yes. Then Danzig took measures to address kind of the complaints of the League of Nations that some of their actions were unconstitutional. Yes. Meanwhile, on the front, we are making good progress, I think. Italy should arrive today, finally, in this province, which will kind of cover our backs to move further with our tank. And where I'm gonna move, I don't know yet, but it's gonna be somewhere. And it could be Addis Ababa, because right now, he arrives in 2 days and 3 hours. And I can be there in 2 days and 1 hour. So should I do that, is the question. Because then I can be cut off again here. It's difficult. It's very difficult. These guys are also like taking forever to do anything. These guys will take 7 days and 10 hours to move one province. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, Italy, I need you to send some of these guys that are doing nothing up north to cover this whole flank thing. Okay, I think at least I'm going to move here to get this guy to immediately have to run again. It will take him quite a while to get there. And we are going to be there in a day and 5 hours. So that's not bad. February 26th, 1936. A Wednesday. This is the day that the attempted coup, known as the February 26th incident, began in Japan. Then in Saxony, Germany, Hitler opened the first... Saxony, where's that? There's somewhere here. Hitler opened the first Volkswagen plant. Yes, the very first one. Can you believe it? And yes, about Japan, some more information. It was about 900 military folk that kind of rose up. And some of the important people that were killed were Admiral Makoto Makoto Saito, General Yotaro Watanabe, and Minister of Finances Korekiyo Takahashi. They were all murdered. Yep. Meanwhile, back at the front, we're gonna just see what's gonna happen with this tank here. We're gonna arrive here in 9 hours. Probably a bit after this retreating troop. Oh no, we're gonna be there before. Meaning he's gonna suffer some damage, for sure. Very good. Yep. Haha. And now you are fighting again, you fool. Hey, there's 2 attacking regiments. That's weird. Interesting. Anyway, that's fine. Supply is really, really bad. Hey, it looks like we made a little progress here, so that's good. We could, if we take this province somehow, cut off or trap all 3 of these guys. We could encircle them. That'd be very, very nice. First, we need to win this fight, though. On February 27th, 1936, a Thursday, the Second Battle of Tembien began on Ethiopia's northern front. I think we already took Tembien. Where's Tembien? I don't know. I think we already captured it. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what also happened is that the French Chamber of Deputies ratified the Franco-Soviet Treaty of Mutual Assistance. Yes. Then, in Belgium, the Belgian representation rejected a proposal for a law that would extend the conscription service. Conscription, like mandatory conscription. But they did like kind of restructure how many seats which part of the country was able to provide based on shifted demographic numbers. Okay, very good. Back on the front, we are making significant progress against the Ethiopians. We're winning all our battles, and we could be encircling a bunch of Ethiopian regiments here very soon. Just need to wait for this guy to give up, mostly. I don't think we're going to get the encirclement, though, because we're just going to push him back. Maybe I should even stop fighting here with my infantry and have him move around over here. I think I'm going to do that just so I can try to lock that one guy up. So we're going to move our infantry over to this side. And then we're going to attack this from 2 sides. It's going to make this battle last a bit longer, so that's good. It will take forever for this guy to revive, of course. Probably like a week. But we can deal with that. It's fine. Yes, it's fine indeed. Hey, can we get supply from Djibouti? That would be very nice. We are up to 80 political power now. That's very nice. I think the first thing we need to get is this silent workhorse, Martin Bormann, to just speed up the gain of political power. We are also only 11 days away from completing our first focus, so that's going to be really nice. The 4-year plan. So yeah, maybe we should also start thinking about what we do after the 4-year plan. I think this whole branch here would be very nice to get. Especially this one. These 2 actually. They're going to be very useful to get early on. They're going to snowball us. Yeah, so I think we go autarky, Hermann Göring werken, KDF wagen. And then probably extra research slot. And what we do after that, I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe align these guys. We start making sure we have some allies. Anyway, let's keep watching this fight. I think it's pretty much over. No? Yeah, Okay, they gave up. So, are we gonna go straight in? Straight in to try and kill this guy? He has like half his strength. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, there are now 2 units there. Oh, we can always stop attacking when it looks bad. Anyway, on Friday, the 28th of February 1936, the Interstate Commerce Commission ordered a reduction in basic rail passenger fares from 3.6 to 2 cents per mile everywhere in the United States. Then the Japanese Prime Minister Okada, who was presumed dead, returns to his home. Yeah, very interesting. The uprisings from the February 27 uprising thought to have killed him, but they actually killed his brother-in-law, Colonel Denzo Matsuo. Yep. Then also the Italians conquered Amba Alagi. I don't know where that is on the map because I don't think it shows up. But nevertheless, we are actually making good progress here in our version of the war. So let's just keep going. Oh, did our other airplanes return home yet? Or are they still on their way? No, they're somewhere... Oh, they're almost home. They're somewhere above the Balkans. Once they return completely, we can send some tactical bombers or something to have more close air support. That would be nice. Because the fighters we had there were just doing nothing. Getting air superiority against nothing. You know? So, whatever. So, we are probably doing some damage here. But I don't think the tank alone is going to be able to push through. Especially not when this guy also joins. Still at 100% strength though, so that's good. Interesting. The game thinks it's March already, but 1936 did in fact have a February 29th. So I'll just tell you what happened on February 29th, because tomorrow we'll jump into March. So on this forgotten day in the game, Emperor Hirohito called for the Japanese military insurgents, kind of, to return to their barracks. In the Saargebiet, I don't remember where exactly that is. Saargebiet in Germany, anyway. All non-national socialist youth organizations are disbanded. And Belgium is building some defense works at the crossings of the Maas and the Luik, which are 2 rivers, on the French border. Something else that happened is that the Second Battle of Tembien ended in Italian victory, and that President Roosevelt actually extended the 1935 Neutrality Act all the way until May 1st, 1937, as was discussed, I think, by Congress a couple days earlier. I did talk about that. Anyway, tomorrow we will jump into the 3rd month.